We are rolling.
Good morning. Welcome back to the conversation. This is Pointing Out the Obvious. This is our news and politics webcast. I'm your host, Patrick Russell, and that's my very opinionated producer. We're here to quip, bang, quiver through today's headlines, searching for the real. No matter how deep into the swamp we need to go. Veronica, I know that this is going to break your heart, but your secret flame, Andrew Cuomo, got, girl.
I don't know how I feel about it. Honestly, I've been crying because Cuomo. Come on.
So it did happen, guys. Couple things we need to absorb. First, Andrew Cuomo, yesterday, it came out in a very deliberate and thorough investigation by the New York AG, the Attorney General. Now, ultimately, the only thing that mattered from her press conference, Veronica, was the fact that she said that she wasn't filing any charges. But that was the last thing that she said before she walked off the podium. Before that statement, which was the only statement that mattered, she roasted Andrew Cuomo. Not only did you have the scathing report that did detail, without question, a hostile work environment, Andrew Cuomo. I know where it comes from, though, Veronica. Let's talk about Andrew Cuomo for just a second. If there ever was the metaphor of the Prince of New York, it would go to Andrew and your other secret love, don't try to hide it, Chris Cuomo. I try not to dive too deep into that fascination. I know better not to ask too many questions about that. However, they were born with silver spoons in their mouths. They were born with their father, Mario Cuomo, being a very influential and powerful businessman and politician, governor of New York himself. He had the world, especially in New York, was his oyster. He basically walked around entitled, pointing and treating things that belong to him. And when you get to that status with that much influence and clout, it's almost like anything you look at, like Simba, as far as the eye can see, is your kingdom. And I think he just got caught now in the revolution, maybe even the renaissance in the workplace, where the Me Too movement is now forcing the strong alpha male to keep himself in check and not to get too handsy with the female employees or staff workers, because this world isn't going to put up with it anymore. From a younger person's perspective, and a person that personally really did enjoy watching those Cuomo news press conferences. During the early stages of the pandemic, I myself fell in love with the guy. I was infatuated with the feeling of safety and protection, that there was finally one adult that I could lean on to hold on to the steering wheel while we transverse this existential threat. So tell me, from the younger generation's perspective, how do you feel about the takedown of Andrew Cuomo?
You know, it is upsetting. I understand.
She hated it. Oh, she almost cried yesterday.
I cry. I literally cry. I understand that the Me Too movement, and obviously this women coming to say, hey, this happened to me. I'm not doubting that. Yeah. What I'm doubting is why now? Why now when it happened? And let me tell you one thing, and you know me, if someone touches me and I don't like it at the moment, I'm going to say something.
Correct.
So why wait time to come and be upset about, hey, this happened to me, and, you know, he did this and that? No, it doesn't go like that. If someone touches me and at the moment I feel offended and I feel sexually, whatever you want to call it, I will say it right there.
I hear you.
Right? So it's just...
You're a very strong woman, and you've always been very confident. And so no matter what the situation, you've always really stood your ground. That's always been a strong point.
Yeah. If I like it, I won't say anything until something happens.
That's really
triggers, either money,
we
fame,
have to...
and something like, and then I'll come up there saying, hey, this happened to me. I'm not saying that in other circumstances potentially happen to women. I'm not saying that. But why now? And then why when Donald Trump is not in power anymore. Because if you remember, Patrick, and this is another webcast, if you remember,
it is.
Donald Trump.
But this is where your
Cuomo,
venom is really
yes,
truly born from in the case against Andrew Cuomo. It's not so much that we don't believe the 11 women that came out and specifically provided their testimony of what took
sure
place.
About that.
Totally not. But what we also believe is that it really wasn't 11. It's been his whole life. Andrew Cuomo is an alpha male. He's a sexually virile man. And he's a type of person that he grew up in a culture where everything that he saw felt like it belonged to him, right? It's that entitlement that we've also seen with who else? Mr. Donald J. Trump, which is why in many ways it's so difficult to have that kind of power centralized in one person, because ultimate power ultimately corrupts all the best characters. And I'm sorry to say, Andrew, but you gotta resign. There's no way for you to come back. Yes, you have to.
Okay, so let me ask you one thing. Why now that Cuomo did this, happened to do all these things, why not Donald Trump? If you remember the story, and I'm not going to repeat it here, but
sure,
he actually paid money to someone
absolutely
that was providing sexual...
right, he paid off the hooker.
Yes. So why not going against and after Donald Trump, and yes to Cuomo? And I'm not defending any of those actions. Let me just be clear. What I'm saying is that if you that like Trump, like his actions and like how real he is, let poor Cuomo just deal with it and move on.
So a part of her final point, a part of her backlash on this is that she really feels that there's dark political money behind the women coming forward at this moment. So essentially there's a political motivation as opposed to women standing up for the positive improvement of conditions in the workplace, which, here's my final point. Black and white, he did create a sexually harassment
We don't know that.
tinged environment.
That's what they said. And they came out with all these documentations that apparently they collected from people. We don't know that unless you were there, unless videos and pictures were actually grabbing someone's ass, and then I will believe it. But I don't believe, and I don't want, and I don't wish for Cuomo to resign. That's my final point.
Oh, I tell you what, she would watch every press conference as if she was watching like a novella or watching like her favorite soap opera. I mean, that's how involved she was with Andrew Cuomo towards the beginning of this pandemic. You, my friend, got us through a lot. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for that quality leadership when we needed it the most, but I still think you need to resign. All right, guys, please. Once again, there's no right or wrong answer, but please, there is your opinion and your voice, and we're asking for you to lend it to the show. Use the comment box below. Great job, as always. Please, we're going to be doing this on a daily basis. Don't just subscribe to the show, be part of the show. Guys, remember, no matter what you face today, no matter what challenges or opportunities come your way, just remember one thing. Give them hell. Have a great day, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.